This is not a night where you can pick and choose. You got a 5-hour show and probably a 4.5 hour show head to head. If you want to watch both, you're going to be up till 4:30 in the morning. Ain't going to happen. And
most normal people can just watch one the next day.
9 a.m. Eastern Time on September 22nd. What are me and Dave going to be talking about?
Wrestling Brain, all the weekend. 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 Wrestling Brain, all the weekend.
Wrestling Brain.
I'm looking for something that's good for me, something to watch with my friends and talk about wrestling. And if that exists, ooh, I think I watch it all the time. I heard two words and everything's so clear. Both boys was filled to the brim and people started to cheer. Wrestling Brain, ooh, I just can't get you off my mind. And the more I hear, the more I wanna say it. It brings me everything I ever needed. More and more people saying Wrestling Brain. You know there's more and more people saying Wrestling Brain. More and more people saying Wrestling Brain. You know there's more and more people saying Wrestling Brain. Oh yeah.
Welcome back to Wrestling Brain. I'm Ultra Josh Custodio here for our All Out Toronto preview show. Really, this is the go-home show for Wrestling Brain Live 3, but that's a whole other discussion. WrestlingBrain.net if you want to be there for our post-show live in Toronto, but you're here right now for the preview show. And boy, do we have an illustrious setup for you here. It's late night vibes here live on the channel, as I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow. I can't go live Thursday night, so we're going after AEW dudes. I'm settled in, but I'm also warmed up, and I'm joined by a bunch of people that I enjoy. Of course, you know him as the funky bass player from Hotel Mira. I thought he had new glasses. This is one of my closest friends in the world. Turns out they're old glasses, so I don't know what that makes me. Mike Noble, of course. Mike, what shirt are you wearing?
Oh, I'm wearing Antonio Inoki versus Great Muta at the Fukuoka Dome shirt.
Glad I asked.
Very sick. I got it at the Japanese vintage wrestling store that's in Japan. The name escapes me right now, but it's not the Token shop. It's like the really crazy one.
God, when I asked where you got your shirt, I was like, oh, I know the shirt's gonna be cool, but I didn't need the story about how you got it would be even cooler. The shirt was almost dwarfed by where you got it.
Yeah, it's a Tokyo import. They wouldn't let you try it on, so I just had to guess the size.
A vintage store that won't let you. Actually, I guess that's lots of them don't have change rooms. That's actually...
yeah.
All right.
Different rules over there.
Thank you for joining me, Mike.
No worries.
On top of that, we got Brian Shirlaw, host of Battle Royale with Cheese. Now, this is a podcast I have to get into. Do I have this right, Brian? You host a podcast that is a food, like a restaurant review show about Vancouver?
That's right. Yeah. My host and I, my co-host Jill and I kind of think of it almost like a zine. We have no growth plans. It's hyper local, and it's basically just for the people who it's for. So that's
I love that.
People in the hosp industry, people who really like food, people who like to go eat, and ideally people who like to have a good time.
I got to listen to this.
It's a tough market. People who like to eat and have a good time.
Yeah, I know, but hyper local to Vancouver only. We talk about sometimes like, what if we went down to Seattle and did a restaurant, but like, then who would listen? Who would really listen? You know,
the entire marketing.
Come on, we're getting too niche at that point.
I love eating out in Vancouver. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I got to check this out. Brian Shirlaw, thank you for making your Wrestling Brain debut. Thank you for joining me late night.
Happy to be here. And honestly, I wanted to say, Mike, I have not been to the Fukuoka Dome, but I have been to the Fukuoka Convention Center, which is where the first New Japan show I ever watched was live when I was in Japan in 2016. That was
Hell
my
yeah.
introduction to New Japan.
There
So
you go.
shout out to the Fukuoka connection.
What was on that show, Brian?
That was headlined by Naito versus Ishii. It was Naito's only successful defense after he took it from Okada the first time.
Right.
Love
But
that.
the one that I remember very, very fondly from that show is Nagata versus Shibata, which was a real, you will learn some respect for your elders, young man kind of match.
I love that. Something Shibata would go on to do to many young
Totally,
people
totally.
In the years to follow. Now, the real hero tonight, guys, isn't any of the three of us. This guy has been producing, by the time this is over, for over 4 hours. Let's give it up for the man behind the scenes tonight, the host of the hardest podcast to podcast, Ryan Schapp. Ryan, how are you holding up? We went to the Hives last night, man.
I'm doing fine. I'm getting by. We're here to talk about wrestling.
You sound bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you sound
I-
defeated.
I got a little. I'm a little hoarse, maybe from the show. I don't think I'm getting sick, but my voice is taking a toll a little bit.
Yeah, well,
Got a
you know what they say
7:30 a.m. flight tomorrow, so all right, main event time.
You're
know,
half
when you-
right. We will be starting with the main event. So
Hate to say I told you so about going to the Hives.
Hey, now.
now that's
Okay.
funny.
Yeah,
Now that is funny
yeah.
because you told them
thank
not to go.
No, I actually had no idea until Amanda posted an absolute banger of a Instagram post about it.
It
Here
is
we
true.
go.
It's a great photo.
Let's get into this. We're the riffing is. Let's go.
Let's get into it. From Toronto, I cannot wait to be there in the building, and just I don't know. There's something about this show that feels tide turning to me. I don't know if you guys agree. I'll go to you, Brian, after this, but it feels to me like this WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia is the most negative piece of press WWE has had in the Triple H. Oh, remember all that stuff? That was bad. Now it's Triple H era. And I feel that the counter programming with Wrestle Lollapalooza that they're doing on the same day, I think that it's not a perception shift. It's not done, but I feel that we're inching towards, and they're sort of set up for a victory this weekend. Am I seeing stars, or are you feeling a little of this too?
No, I think you're bang on with that. And I think that, you drew the New York comparison, and I wouldn't exactly compare this to something like Backlash after Mania, because they're not doing like the it's just Mania rematches kind of thing. But I do feel like so much of getting to All In was to prove that like we've righted the ship, we're in
Right.
a good place, we're going to be good from here on out. And this is the first real AEW pay-per-view since All In. Forbidden Door was definitely an AEW show, but this is the first, like, let's have a steady, confident show to prove we've still got the juice. And it wasn't all about building to one thing. We've got some momentum now.
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Mike? Are you feeling this sort of stage set for a win if All Out can deliver on the goods?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is that it's like clearer than ever that they are just like completely two separate products.
Yeah.
I do like obviously the afternoon move sucks. I do get it, and selfishly as someone who is not going to Toronto and gets to wake up and stay in bed at noon and watch it, it's kind of sick. But yeah, like with everything that's happening with New York right now, especially with like the new EMF. Oh, those always get me. Actually, I know that guy. Hell yeah! Thanks for subscribing to Wrestling Brain. But where was I with New York and everything? And like the EMF transmitters and stuff like that, and like everything that's happening, it's just like they're just so clearly like
Commercials for ice.
dude, it's crazy. And like, so I think All Out is already in my books is already won. Like an AEW pay-per-view never lets us down. Like even the worst one is still like the best wrestling you've ever seen. So stage is set, and I think WrestlePalooza is going to be an absolute fumble.
Oh, I like that prediction.
Yeah. Like what are they going to do? Just hit a fucking go to sleep and then no one will see it because they don't have the 7 apps you need?
Yeah, I gather it's like kind of hard to see in the States. That rocks.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that. Let's kick it off, guys, talking about our main event of the evening. Hangman Adam Page challenging, or rather defending, his AEW Men's World Heavyweight Championship against the ascending current TNT title holder, Kyle Fletcher. Now, they added a stipulation tonight on Dynamite that I really like, where now, if there is any interference in the match, Kyle Fletcher will be stripped of his TNT title. I'm still picking Hangman, but I got to say, this is much liver now for me with this stipulation. I explained it a bit on the show, Mike, so I'll throw to you. Do you like the addition of this stipulation as much as I do, and sort of the setting the stage for this interference moment, and you get the TNT title off of Fletcher where he doesn't actually have to lose it?
Yeah, I don't think Kyle's walking out losing the title for sure. I think he's going to leave as TNT champion. It's interesting, 2 years in a row it's world champion versus TNT champion, because last year we had Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson. Which is hilarious to say in hindsight out loud.
Their bad Bryan Danielson match.
It was fine, but
bad if it's a Bryan Danielson.
yeah, but yeah. So I love it. Like I'm a big Kyle Fletcher truther. I think he genuinely is the future of the industry. I do love. It wasn't like this week, but it was a promo last week where they referenced like Hangman basically was like, "You are where I was at All Out 2019." Where I had to prove myself against the vet, and now Hanger's this vet that Kyle has to prove himself to. And so Hanger's whole thing has been like, do you have it, right? And I can see genuinely there not being any interference, because I think the story that they're telling with the Don Callis family is that they're too big for themselves, and that'll be told over time. But Kyle loses a hard-fought battle, gets Hanger's respect. That does something to a guy.
I love it. Brian, what's the percentage chance, even if you're not picking him, that Kyle Fletcher could walk out as the world champion on Sunday?
I want to pick something like 8.
Okay, single digit.
Yeah, I don't think it's high, but I echo a lot of what Mike was saying, is that I think this is the kind of loss that can really make a guy. And I think I'm really curious to see how they kind of pull this match together, both because the build has been so good. I think I was out on Kyle Fletcher when this push started, and he's won me all the way over. So I guess now I'm a truther too. But I think that Hangman is such a thoughtful wrestler that I'm really curious to see how he handles his first, you're good, but you're not quite there yet. But there's obviously a long road in front of you. And I think that that's echoed in all the promos. And I think it's so obviously building for that to be sort of a satisfying takeaway from the match that I'm just really excited to see how they pull it together.
I want AEW to be the Fed where Kyle Fletcher can win. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
I hear what you're saying.
I look at New Japan right now and I'm like, can we get going? Can we get someone? And Hangman is so over and so made. And I'm not saying I would take the title off of him, but you could do such worse than putting the title on Kyle Fletcher in this situation with the might of the Don Callis family behind him and babyface Takeshita in the wings. There's just so much meat on the bone. Mike, I'll let you get in here.
I was going to say the 2 points that I just had based on that is, one, I think for the sake of the story, they need to put this match on last, because I think there's a lot of discussion that the Cope and Christian tag match will go on last, but nothing says we actually don't take you seriously as a main eventer like not going on last. And the other point was, if the one reason I think Kyle's not winning is because they did the classic thing that you can never do for a challenger, and that is give away the visual of them holding the belt. And they did that tonight.
AEW doesn't hold to that as often.
Well,
the last visual, Zoobs and I have kept track. It does. It is still a signal of it, like more often than not. But there are examples of times where it isn't a curse, or the heel does beat down and wins the title. Like, they do have exceptions to
the
it.
biggest one for me was like the MJF Jay White feud, where the whole thing was that Jay White stole the belt. It's like, okay, well, we're now just looking at what he looks like as champion. So it's like, yeah, he's not going to win it.
I know who you guys are picking in this match. Sounds like all three of us on Hangman Page. But in terms of match of the night fare, what are your expectations for this one, Brian? Is this something that, like, can this be, even in the oeuvre of both these guys' matches, you think of even this year, the matches that they had, even just this year, the matches that they had with Will Ospreay, how good they are. Can this be sort of in this, AEW main event of a pay-per-view standard, or a match of the year contender is ostensibly what that means?
You hit on exactly the point that I was going to bring up too, which is that not only do I think this has that potential, but the Ospreay lineage is there with Fletcher too. So I feel like I'm excited to see how they match up based on, I think I'd still probably call Hangman Ospreay my favorite match of the year so far.
Ooh.
I'd have to think about it. But either way, Fletcher has proven himself to be such a sicko that I'm really excited to be like, okay, this is your first time main eventing a pay-per-view. Like, what bump are you willing to take? Like, what are you willing to do? And I'm really excited to see how that goes.
What about you, Mike? Match of the night potential here?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's probably going to be match of the night. Like when all is said and done, there's like 3 contenders in my mind, maybe 4, depending on like what you're into.
There's 2 in my mind.
Yeah, we'll knock them off as we get down there. But
Darby versus Mox and Eddie Kingston walking out are the 2 match contenders for me.
Yeah, I'll
So
get
this
to my
doesn't
other
even
ones
rate for
later.
you.
Yeah.
No, I don't think this will be my match of the night. This isn't even a criticism of this match, but I do feel like I know what this match looks like. And
Yeah.
that I would love to be subverted, and in some ways they stand to gain a lot of fandom with me, but I feel like this will be to the standard of an AEW main event match, while also probably not as physical as some of my favorite Hangman matches or opponents. That's kind of my sense going in. Whereas Darby John Moxley in a coffin match is so. I'm a messed up guy. Like that's I know some people. It's like Will Ospreay is the platonic ideal of a wrestler. That's your match of the year. Nothing's touching Janela Sabu for me for match of the year. I can tell you that right now. So
Rest in peace.
I'm joking, of course, but
What a
anyway,
legend.
I'm looking forward to it. Mike, let's move on down the card to the next one. I'll let you run away with this one. I don't know what order we're gonna be in yet, but let's give her doodaps. Toni Storm defending her Women's World Championship against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. And Mike, I'd like to give you a lot of credit because if people go to patreon.com/J0SHC, they pay $5 a month, get all the bonus content, solo streams, whatever else. But they also get into the Wrestling Brain Discord. And you really got me thinking about this match in like a very real way the other day. So the floor is yours. Toni Storm's title is on the line. What do you predict happening here in this match?
I think Statlander's turning heel and winning. I think it's so like it's time for Toni Storm's reign. It's been since like February. I think it's been a great reign. It's been a great run. Everyone that she's faced has been like a bit of a challenger of the month flavor. And all 3 of the people in this match could realistically be like the next 3 challengers if they just wanted to keep the belt on Toni. I think having it in a 4-way like this makes things interesting. Like I don't think Jamie Hayter's taking it. I don't think Tekla's taking it. Chris has the most interesting story coming out of it. And I also think Toni gets pinned. Like, I think it's going to be a full-on, we are moving this title off of Toni Storm to further. Because, like, what's the story if Toni wins? It's just another 3 months of probably each one of these challengers individually. And I know Toni's great. She's one of the highlights every week. Her character is unbelievable. She does a great job of not getting stale. But the run, I do feel, has run its course. And I think the next step in revitalizing Toni's character is going to be the chase or whatever comes after this. Maybe people would argue you could get another month or 2 out of her run, and that's probably correct. But like I don't see it being like a year long or anything like that. And I think Chris with the Death Riders is probably the most interesting story coming out of the women's division right now. And then from there, you could do like Chris versus Willow, Chris versus Jamie Hayter, and run back all of those. And the promo tonight, I thought it was a little cheesy, like with Jamie and Chris coming out in Toni's, like with the backdrop or the lack of backdrop, I should say.
Stealing her spotlight.
Yeah, stealing her spotlight. It like the tone of it is like a eulogy, like everything like Toni's been saying, and what they've all been saying as well. Like so, it feels kind of time for that, and I think that's an impactful thing for Chris as well, and it actually like establishes her as a top heel in the division.
Brian, how does that hit your ears? Could Toni Storm be dropping the title to Chris Statlander on Saturday?
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth on this. I completely agree, and I think that that's probably the best direction because, Mike, you said it so well, but at a certain point, like if Toni wins, like to what end at this point? She's already had such a good, long, solid run that like to set up someone else to be another challenger, you'd almost kind of like end it now, leave them wanting more. It would kind of make her pivoting into the chase feel a little bit like it's got a little bit more energy behind it. And I agree that the promo tonight definitely felt like kind of like a goodbye to this reign. And I would feel a lot stronger about Stat coming into that position if her and Jamie both didn't seem so weak on the mic compared to Tony in that promo. Like, it really felt like she was setting them up to take the torch, and neither of them really brought it in a way that made you feel like you're a credible leader of this division. Like, you can stand toe to toe with Toni Storm. And I love Stat, like, God love her. She's incredible in the ring. I know that promos have never really been her thing. So maybe with the Death Riders, that's like the fix for that issue, right? But, you know, you could do a lot worse than having Mox do your promos for you.
And
Agreed.
we've also never gotten her as like a heel promo, because like when she turned heel last, she was with Stoke. So
True,
it's just like
yeah.
maybe that's like fire.
Yeah.
It's funny. I totally understand where you guys are coming from, because I basically just get there in reverse to a different result. I think Toni Storm retains the title, but it sets up a Statlander singles feud exiting in. I think Storm defends the title, and then post match the Death Riders attack her, and Statlander's like not sure about it still. She's like, oh, I don't know. And then she has the moment in front of the crowd of she, Mox, and Marina sort of clear the way, and she starts stomping Storm in the corner. And then that's the next feud for Storm. And I do think you could set up Statlander dethroning her there. But I feel like you make Statlander a lot more. Although if Mike's right and she pins Tony, that's different. But I was imagining her pinning not Tony when people are picking her in this match. So that's a little different. But I more see it playing out as a post-match angle with Tony defending successfully and then Chris Statlander actively entering the Death Riders in the post-match.
Yeah, I just think this entire match is set up to subvert the expectation that Tony's retaining. Just because it's like, oh, a multi-man is a sign that she obviously retains, and like all these flags are up that, oh, it's an easy win. And I think they're
She did say tonight on the show, she's like, if this is my last chance or my last day as champ, and she called all three of them like worthy of her mantle, it did very much have like a this could be my last night vibe.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like that's almost more the stage set.
Yeah. But yeah, I have Chris Statlander taking this with the heel turn being cemented.
Nice.
Even with all of that, I will say that when I made my picks, I did pick Tony. So I really do feel like, Josh, I see your vision for this angle too.
One way or another, I think we all think there's a very good chance Chris Statlander is the world champ in the next couple months and is turning heel and joining the Death Riders. So
Yes.
more on the same page than different.
Mhm.
We'll move one more down the card. And of course, it's the unified title. Kazuchika Okada defending it against Konosuke Takeshita and Mascara Dorada. And you know what? Credit to these guys. I don't really know what's going to happen here. I don't have a super great read on it. I've gone back and forth. I don't know who's going to get pinned. I think, okay, raise your hand, both of you, and me and this, all three of us. And Ryan, do we have a version where you can come on screen too?
No, I'm in the shadows. I got the lights off.
Amazing.
I'm not wearing any pants.
Okay, that's fantastic. I can only imagine what you're looking at. So
could
then for
imagine?
you two, raise your hand if you agree with this statement. This match will set up Okada versus Takeshita coming out of it. Okay. So I'll go to you first here, Mike.
Mhm.
Who gets pinned in this match that serves that?
It's Mascara Dorada.
But then how does that sow dissent between those two?
Oh, easy. Well, so it's cool that you're doing this as a parallel after the Toni Storm thing, because it's kind of the same conversation.
Here we go.
Well, because it's like you have these multi-man set up where it's like, oh, it's an obvious retaining. There's obviously someone who's in there to take the pinfall, blah, 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 blah. I think in the Toni match, it's the subversion. And in this one, it's the obvious, where Okada pins Mascara Dorada. Takeshita and Okada, Don Callis' family is getting too big for their britches. They're still imploding. They're still getting weird about it. There's probably going to be some kind of schmucky thing where like it could be like Takeshita hits the burning arrow, and then Okada throws him out of the ring and then steals the pin. Like that,
Yeah.
like that sort of
That would
thing,
make
right?
sense.
And then there's still unfinished business between Okada and Takeshita, which is the money match, which I do think Takeshita is eventually going to win, for the record.
Chad, I want to know from you here too. Who takes the pin in this match? Brian, is it just unanimous? Does Dorada take the pin here?
I think it has to be, and I think for all the reasons Mike said, you can get to the friction between Okada and Takeshita in the match itself. And I also don't think you can pin Takeshita when he's about to challenge for the IWGP heavyweight title. So
That's
it's sort
the
of
interesting.
like I see it, but like it would be really rare if he took a loss here and then went on to like win, which I think he will, unless he doesn't. But I think that it has to be Dorada.
Yeah.
I'll also say that I was so confident Beast Mortos was going to be in this match that I wrote down the title of this match as Okada versus Takeshita versus the Beast Mortos. So congratulations to Mascara Dorada.
Mascara Dorada is going to be on that MJF schedule.
Okay. Well, we will see. Where's your expectations for the match? I don't know. I'm just so this is so the stopgap between the thing I actually want to see that it's hard for me to get super juiced about it in some way. I think it'll be good in moments. They're going to be able to not pair off, but go one-on-one at different points in the match together. And I'll enjoy those sequences, but more as a preview for Okada Takeshita, which is the real thing. I don't think this will be contending for match of the night in any real way.
I think it'll be like more storytelling, like actually being like Don Callis is at ringside telling Okada and Takeshita to work together for like 12 minutes and then they just can't or something. It's going to be one of those things, right? And that's going to take away from the match quality because no one likes matches where that's the story.
I do think this has a fun trip to the fireworks factory potential.
Hey,
in that, like Takeshita kind of always empties the clip at least a little bit. Dorada showed out tonight on Dynamite in a way. Okada, if they can wake him up a little bit, he'll have moments. I think it could be fun.
It also just it's also one of those classics like the because we probably like realistically knows who's gonna win. It's kind of takes away from the excitement of it. Being Mascara Dorada, of course.
I guess maybe what's throwing me in this match and what's good is that this week I was informed of what a big deal Mascara Dorada is. And so I'm just like, would they just send him up here to be a pin guy in a three-way? But I guess they would.
Yeah, absolutely. He like lost to like fucking, can I swear on this? He lost to friggin' like
no, Mike.
MJF in like 6 minutes, a couple months ago.
True. I guess that's true. I can't see Okada losing it to anybody but Takeshita, so I guess I have
agree.
to end up with that result.
After Wrestle Kingdom though, because I can't see Takeshita winning an AEW title while he's IWGP champion.
Oh yeah, that timeline will make it interesting to follow at each and every turn. So sounds like we're unanimous. Okada retains this title here. Congratulations. Go back to the old music, please. Just as soon as you could. The tag team titles are on the line in a 4-way ladder match. Brodito defending against the Young Bucks, Jet Boat, and the Don Callis family, here represented by Hechicero and Josh Alexander. I actually think this is going to go the hell off. I think this is fun with having Edge and Christian, very upper card here, to have a big ladder match. They were united as a tag and so associated with the TLC. So I think spiritually this is nice to have. I actually think there's a good chance Brodito could drop their titles here. Am I crazy, Brian?
No, not at all. I think this could go a bunch of different directions, and I wouldn't really be that mad about any of them. Or maybe it's really two directions. Maybe it's Brodito or the Young Bucks. But I think that you could have Brodito retain purely because it gives them something to do. And if you're not immediately clearing the decks for one or both of them to get a singles push, then I don't know what you're doing, because I feel like getting them off TV at this point would be malpractice.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat here. I think that they're underused in this tag team, as good and cool as it is. And they can return to it and have, remember Brodito moments, and they're in the tag lineage. But I think both are ready to go as singles guys. Mike, would it be wild to put the belts back on the Young Bucks at this point, or would it be appropriate?
I think the Young Bucks will eventually win the titles. Like, I think we are, like, I feel as fans of wrestling, we're just owed a Brodito versus Young Bucks feud. Like I think that's like, I want them to lose it in like a one-on-one, because I think that match would be an absolute ripper. But I do think the lineage goes Brodito, Young Bucks to Edge and Christian.
And that's what I mean. It's leading to Bucks versus ENC.
But it just depends on where that timeline is, and I don't think that timeline begins at All Out. So I think
we know they don't mind pinning Brody King or Bandito, so that's the part of this that makes me think, again, it's this multi-man, and they don't need to be pinned. So in that way, it could just be them. But I don't know. I can imagine a world. My official pick will be the Young Bucks on this show. And again, you can fill out your official picks,
Yeah.
patreon.com/J0SHC. Even the free members, you get in there, you make your picks, and you can win one of the remaining 4 holographic brand stickers.
I think the Young Bucks need to fall a bit farther. Like I don't think it's I don't think I'm ready to see the resolution of them being poor story, you know?
I couldn't agree more. And I wrote down that the reason I didn't pick the Young Bucks is I just think there's more money and they're suffering.
Yeah.
For me, there is. I've enjoyed this downfall arc of theirs a great deal. Fellas, the world is cold. And on Saturday night, together, we will all bundle up for the return of the Mad King, Eddie Kingston. I think unanimously one of the favorite baby faces of the entire AEW populace, certainly true of the Wrestling Brain audience. He's coming back to face Big Bill. Brian, what do you think of this being the return matchup for Eddie Kingston, Big Bill?
It's not what I would have predicted when we were all like wish casting the Eddie Kingston return months ago, but I'm very excited now that it's here. My only criticism is that I won't be in the building for it. So I hope you all have a great time.
It's not too late.
Well, it might be a little too late, but I think it's cool that Eddie's getting the big hyped return hero spot at All Out, just like his favorite guy CM Punk got a few years ago.
2 kindred spirits, 2 guys who pissed everyone else off in Ring of Honor, connected by that. Austin Aries in that group too. Mike, what about you? How's this one settle in for you? Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill.
I do think Big Bill is a weird choice. Like, I know you guys are high on him in the Discord, but like, it's one of those things for me where I'm kind of like, really him? Like, Big Cass? Like, can't teach that soft Cass?
Oh, 10 years ago.
Doesn't matter. The first impressions matter.
It was very real.
He is. Yeah. Well, that's because he like tall joke's not going to work. Never mind. But what was I going to say? I just thought it was an interesting choice because I think when people return, their return opponent kind of dictates where they're going to sit at in the card.
I get that. Yeah.
And Big Bill is a weird one for me because I don't consider him being on any card ever. Kind of like he's not really doing a whole lot of anything. So him getting this spot does feel a bit weird to me. Like if it was say like I expected Eddie Kingston to return against someone like a Kyle Fletcher, you know, like just kind of be like, okay, you're in this level of a conversation now.
Good luck shaking off the ring rust. Your first match back in after breaking, you're like Kyle Fletcher with an Australian accent, just like, okay, that move and counter this and that. You're just like, oh my god, Big Bill's just gonna be like, duck the boot, and then I'll connect with the boot. Sell, and then I'll bump for everything you do. Then do the Kawada plum.
But oh, sorry. I was gonna say just really quickly. It's gonna be obviously an easy win for Eddie Kingston, and I think the program that he's gonna move into next, without like, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. Is I think he's gonna be Danny Garcia's first program as a true heel.
Ooh, love that.
I like it.
Great call. For me, when I saw it announced, I didn't like it at all. And when I think about him as Big Bill in this match, I don't like it. But then when I think about what he is in utility and what Eddie Kingston needs for a return match, it actually just totally makes so much sense and locks into place for me. And sort of, again, for the actual layout of the match, he's about as easy, the easy to work over as a heel quotient is very good with Big Bill. He will get booed and he will be easy for Eddie to do his stuff against. I guess maybe not the half and half suplex, but everything else.
But what
if?
if?
But, I mean, I think he'll hit it, but I'm thinking it won't be as easy as if he would have gotten in there against somebody else equivalently lower card. It just gives him a chance to get the return pop, warm up, and then get into the real thing. It's clear to me that he was okay. I'm not going to do the ECW dates. I'm not going to have the lead up, but I can be there for Toronto. And so with that, if you can't do a build and you need a heel who's over and isn't going to push him to the absolute maximum, shift off some ring rust, I actually really like the Big Bill choice. So as a match, obviously, I think its ceiling is low, but his overness and just Big Bill's alignment, I think, is going to carry enough there. So yeah, Eddie Kingston's my pick here. Couple spinning back fists and then the stretch plum. You going Big Bill here, Brian? I saw you sort of thinking, oh, this has got to be Bill.
Well, he is big.
Yeah,
I
there's no
mean,
question.
There's no. He really is big, and I mean, I think it is so true that he is one of those guys that, like, if he wasn't big and he was sort of
You'd just be
like
Bill.
he would just be Bill. That's true. But I think that it's sort of like if it was anyone else and they were picked as Eddie Kingston's pick, you'd be like, why are they putting him up against somebody who's not even on the show? Like, he's a jobber.
Yeah,
But,
right.
But because he's big and he is Bill, I think this has a little bit more juice, even if it is kind of like an easy layup W. But I'm really excited to see Eddie back, and I think he's such a useful guy to have on TV because I think Daniel Garcia is such a great pick for his opponent. But whatever he does, he's one of those guys that has his own gravity, where he kind of doesn't even need to be in a title picture really to have a focus or feud. He can just kind of be doing whatever.
Ryan, you're going to be in the building on Saturday night, sitting beside me, drinking a $27 beer. Where does Eddie Kingston walking out rate on the things you're most excited to see Saturday night?
Incredibly high. Eddie Kingston is a factor on AEW programming that is insanely sorely missed. Just represents a believable character, pure authenticity, and just the perfect feud for Moxley and the Death Riders. He is. Every time you fantasy book something or you think, oh, what would make sense in this spot, your mind goes to Eddie Kingston. I love Mark Briscoe, but he's doing what he can in the Eddie Kingston, believable, crazy psycho role. I'm very, very excited. I think it's going to be a true testament of how much the AEW audience loves and respects Eddie by the pop he's going to get. And you just hope he stays healthy and he goes on that mammoth run, because I think everybody's cheering for it.
Yeah, I totally agree that he's just such a missed presence. This match could be a stinker. It wasn't that good, and it would still be like, thank God Eddie is back. So it sounds like we're unanimous on Eddie Kingston winning this match, but all greatly looking forward to it.
Do you think he comes back like with like a big physical, like if he comes back like jacked? I'm genuinely asking. Like, I think there's a non-zero chance of like something like that.
He's gonna have the giant beard.
Year off.
What can Caesar Bononi have done is the real
question.
Yeah,
like legitimately. But I think of
Jack Eddie Kingston would.
When I think of a body guy, I think of Caesar Bononi.
Brian, what do you think? Would Jack Eddie Kingston just get a whole new level of push?
The mind reels. I honestly can't even picture it, and I want it so bad.
Like there's just a storied history of people returning from long-term injuries being jacked as hell.
You're so right.
John Moxley did
yeah,
famously very well once.
And I'm kind of like, is Eddie gonna do it? Like, I think he's going to be in great shape. I don't think he's going to be, like, juiced.
No, we're talking about... We all think he's probably going to be in better shape than when he left, but we're talking about, like... Eddie
so
Guerrero,
funny
when
because
they told him he was going to win the title.
Yeah, is that Eddie Kingston or Powerhouse Hobbs? Like, what's going on here?
Let's move on here, guys. Brian mentioned him there. Mark Briscoe. I'm actually very excited for this match. Mark Briscoe and MJF. Like this feud in parts. I've disliked some stuff. That just seems to be sort of the MJF equation for he and I these days, but I like where it's headed. I think this is going to feel like a blood feud on the night. I think that the stipulation, of course, of the tax and tables only adds to that. Mike, who is winning this match? I think that it's actually up for grabs. I've seen opinions on all sides. And what have you thought of the build to this one?
So I've really liked the build. I think MJF is at his best when he's like nuts. Like I really have polarizing opinions on MJF's like promo. He's obviously he can speak. Like that's like no one's
it's definitely not a question that he can speak. But
it's just like the content sometimes makes me like really like it's the classic like someone walks in the room and it's like this is what you watch. And then sometimes when he gets like really serious, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's like one of the best in the game right now. I do think MJF takes it. I think Mark Briscoe, like, if he was going to be elevated into some kind of world title, because, like, if he wins this, that's the discussion, right? Like, he moves up to the next level. I think if he was going to be in that conversation, it would have happened by now. Like, they kind of set like a bit of a path where he could have gotten there. Like I think all of us were thinking like a 3-way between Hanger, Briscoe, and MJF, if not for All Out, but also for Forbidden Door. Like that was on the cards too. So
I think I outright predicted that for the Forbidden Door card myself.
yeah, so I think MJF does take this one. My biggest fear with this match in general is it going alongside a coffin match and a 4-way ladder match. So there's going to be a lot of like, there has to be a lot of care taken between whoever's producing all individually of those 3 matches, because the risk of crossover is extremely high in all of it.
That is where MJF being like a delicate piece of china, like his bumps will feel a little bit like Bobby Lashley's on Dynamite tonight. We're like, oh my, he's doing it. So that does help, because I think you're right. Brian, the CMLL Anniversario match between Mystico and MJF is the night before. I do not follow CMLL very closely, although I have great respect for just running every Friday in a giant arena and their mass culture. Lots I like about them. But it seems to me that MJF is going to be losing the night before All Out to Mystico, unless they are going to unmask Mystico, which again, to my knowledge, would be extremely unlikely, but I do not know that world at all. How much does that play into this? And is there still a chance that MJF does lose 2 nights back to back and take the pin for Mark Briscoe here?
I really hope it means that there is a chance, because I've picked Mark Briscoe to win. And I really hope he does, because I know that it kind of creates this other problem of like, well, does that mean you're going to have to start giving world title shots to Mark Briscoe? There's a lot of other people that you might want to give that time to. But at the same time, I think beating MJF would mean a lot for Mark Briscoe. And we've already done the MJF says a lot of heinous shit. He's willing to do anything. He's a little crazy. But then ultimately, wouldn't you know it, he gets the job done and puts the guy away, and then he just moves on to the next thing. We've done that so many times that I really think this is a chance to go the other way and actually give someone a meaningful win over MJF. And I'm hoping that like one way you could play it is maybe MJF goes on a bit of a losing streak, and that makes him even crazier. And then we get more good MJF than bad MJF.
Yeah, it's funny that you put it that way, because losing can always be a direction or a story for any wrestler. And I think for MJF, it would make a lot of sense. For me, and Mike grazed it there, talking about the MJF Hangman Page MJF triple threat, I still think we're going to get it. I think Mark Briscoe wins on Saturday night, and then MJF uses his contract to cash in on Mark Briscoe's attempt, making it a triple threat a week out as a further means to screw over Mark Briscoe and sort of foil his main event shot. And with the new no cash in rules, it forces MJF to do it a week in advance, and Mark Briscoe can sort of like, what the hell? Like, that's MJF's way of being heel with the cash in, is using it on someone else's shot. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's my read on it right now. And for that, I am actually picking Mark Briscoe. Again, the Anniversario match is what makes it really hard for me. I'm pinning MJF twice in a weekend is tough, but I think that there are things you can do with it, especially if the next plan is still him in a world title match against Hangman Page.
Did we confirm that this tables and thumbtacks match is a pinfall?
No.
Okay.
Also,
Because
officially, it's tables in tax.
well, I was going to say it should just be called tax, because as we all know, tables are legal in AEW.
That's so true.
Oh my god.
Especially in MJF matches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's just how it is. Marlon, the original Swagman Florida Panthers, saying that this feels like his match of the night. I think in a heat in the building, babyface versus heel, this could be the most raucous, and in that way, it could very much deliver. I love that style of match.
Yeah.
One more down the card, and we get to my guess for match of the night. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. I hope this gets loud. I hope this gets disgusting. This is Darby Allin's first pay-per-view match back since he climbed
Singles match,
I should say. Sorry, yeah, he was in the cage. But singles match, he's getting Jon Moxley, who in his promo on Dynamite said, no one has more reverence for Darby than me. No one loves Darby more than me. I think he means the wrestler, and I think he's telling the truth. I think Jon Moxley loves Darby Allin and how he's willing to bleed for AEW. And I think these two are going to go all out in Toronto. I'm expecting a gasp-worthy moment. I'm expecting high brawlability, and I'm expecting to say to myself once again, how did Darby Allin do it? But Brian, I'm going to go to you first because I actually can see either guy winning here. This is the closest match on the card for me to pick. I don't have a super clear vision on it. Which way are you leaning? Does Darby Allin lose his return match, or does John Moxley continue on sort of his generosity run right now and get placed down in the coffin?
So I think Mox is going to win, and I mean, it seemed like it was going to go the other way for so long for so many obvious reasons. Like when Darby even came back, it felt like this is back or before All In. Even it felt like Darby's going to come back. They'll clear up the last remaining stuff with Death Riders. He'll beat John to get his win back, and then Death Riders will go away. Darby's on to the next thing. But now the Death Riders have all this juice back. The Gabe Kidd situation's still a bit unaddressed with the body bag kind of just getting dragged away. You've got the new Daniel Garcia thing. Who knows what they're going to do with Stat, if anything. And I think Mox is in such a great spot right now to be like, no, sorry, it's still not time. I'm still better than you. And you still don't have it like that. And I almost think the more and more I thought about this, these two work so well together. And I'm so confident this is going to be an absolutely nuts, sick time that I can't wait to watch. That there's almost part of me that thinks maybe Darby should never beat Mox. Maybe it should be just one of those rivalries where it's just like he keeps throwing himself at the wall, and maybe he gets it on like the night Mox retires, and like that's it.
But ultimately, he who is the guy who throws his body around and is so dangerous, John Moxley is the one guy that can take all the damage. Stylistically, the mountain he can't climb. Mike, do you agree that this is a close matchup on the card? And who are you picking either way?
Yeah, I'm picking Mox. I think for kind of the exact same reasons that Brian said. Like, I think, like, them doing the Daniel Garcia turn on Dynamite is really interesting to me, because like it also, not to conspiracy theory this whole thing, but it saves room for a Stat heel turn on All Out. But 2 turns in one night would have been a lot for the Death Riders, I think. However, it also kind of is like John Moxley's a mentor now, like a true mentor, not like a Wheeler Yuta sort of relationship, but it's like he just can't lose now, because then he just like looks like a weak mentor to this new pupil who is gonna probably go on a really sick run because of it. And Darby, in the same vein as Mark Briscoe, he has like that babyface fire that he doesn't really need to win to be relevant, you know. But I will say, after the promo tonight with Bryan Danielson, I was just like, Darby's like this guy's gonna win a world title in 2026.
Yeah,
I think,
he has
you know?
to.
Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents on all that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm picking Darby. Like I said, I find this match very hard to pick.
You just want to see him win. There's
Yeah,
nothing
there's
wrong with that.
It's so hard to climb Mount Everest. Like,
Wrestling heart, not the wrestling brain.
yeah, you're damn right. Some people, they'll be like, "Oh, wrestling brain, you're so smart about wrestling." It's like, no, it means I'm always thinking about wrestling. That's what. It's not the smart thing. It's that it's like when I go to a movie and I'm like, "Oh, the babyface is gonna kick out here." Like, that. That's wrestling brain. Not like Mike knows Mike. Who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions in November 2009?
2009's a greasy one, but it probably was Big Show and Jericho.
You can probably source that at home. So I don't have
Jesse
wrestling
and
brain
Festus?
like that. Great picks all around. But so I don't have it like that, but it's on my mind. You see things in that arc. That's wrestling brain. Anyway, I can't wait for this one. My wrestling brain is captured by it. I cannot wait to see it. And if John Moxley does get laid in the casket by Darby Allin, and Darby sets it on fire as his promo sort of tease tonight, that will be a unreal visual that I will love.
It was Show and Jericho. I just looked it up.
Oh my God.
Anyways, yeah, I completely agree. Like, this is going to be an absolute sicko match, to a point where I think it's going to go on after Mark Briscoe and MJF and the 4-way ladder match. Like, 4-way ladder match has big first match of the night energy to me.
Yeah.
But if Mox and Darby are after all of those matches, and those matches feel like they held back, I'm going to be like, we're just going to be in for some just like absolute dog shit stuff, you know?
And we'll deserve it.
And it'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Potential this and Kyle. So my 4 matches of the night potential were this, the ladder, Okada, Takeshita, Dorada, and Hangman Fletcher. Now that I really think about
I
it,
think Mercedes and Riho has a better chance of
oh,
being match of the night.
I
than
have
Matt
negative
Riho.
interest in Mercedes Riho, but we can get to that
Yeah,
maybe
we
now,
will.
but maybe, but Hanger Fletcher and Mox Darby are like the two front runners for me. But I wouldn't be surprised if the other two crept in.
Anything else you want to get off your chest about Darby Allin and John Moxley, Brian?
I think Mox is the best. Mox number one. Every time I see Mox now, I think, wow, Mox looks great.
He looks unreal.
He looks
incredible.
so good.
He's so big.
And it's also just like after All In, I was just like, I never want to see this guy again. And then he goes like, oh, I'm actually gonna be a work rate guy now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and I'm like,
He can do anything.
Okay, yeah, like I was like, this guy is the best in the world.
Yeah, truly. That's exact. That pivot made me feel that way too. Of just like greatness in real time. Don't take John Moxley for granted. He can do anything, and he is the
100%.
best.
I said on the Wednesday show following it that I will just never use the words John Moxley and vacation in the same sentence again. I think this is the third time I've incorrectly predicted. He's like, okay, he drops the title, then he takes a little time off, returns. No, wrestling jet boat in singles match.
One other thing I wanted to say about Mox is, and I don't want to look past the current great stuff he's doing, because obviously there's a long road to go with the Death Riders now, but he's so obviously great in so many ways that now I'm starting to think when he eventually turns face again, it's going to feel fucking enormous. And I can't wait for what AEW looks like on that day.
But in that lane, can he stay with the Death Riders as a babyface, or do the Death Riders have to be extinguished for him to be babyface?
Here's what it is. Mox is just gonna assess the roster. Like he is like if there's gonna be not enough baby faces, Mox will be like, I need to be a baby face. Like I need to save the situation that we're in, which is like why he turned heel, you know?
And he did it so successfully.
Yeah.
I love you, John Moxley.
Yeah, so that's when he's going to turn face. If there's just like, oh, the babyface side feels a bit weak for some reason, or if there's like a huge heel on the up and coming that he like wants to make, like those are the only ways I can see Mox turning face.
Mike Noble, defend your statement. Why do you have no interest in Mercedes Moné putting her TBS title on the line against Riho this Saturday night?
Because I'm getting kind of tired of the Challenger of the Month vibe. That's basically it. Like
she feuded with Tony there for a couple months.
Yeah, but they kind of like that was Tony's Challenger of the Month. It's a bit different. Well, so I think the thing is specifically.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Well, so what I mean with like, does anyone think Riho's gonna win?
No.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's also in this weird zone where like Riho has the the legacy in AEW, but it's one of those challengers where it's like, not only is Mercedes obviously going to win, if they do a surprise win for the challenger, it's stupid. Like at least with Alex Windsor, you can be like, oh, I can see where they're going with that. Like all the love in the world to Riho, she should not be anywhere near the TBS title. And that's kind of why I'm just like, okay, like it's just going to be another Mercedes match, which will be great. But on a card full of great matches, some of them just become less exciting.
Do you share in that fatigue, Brian?
A little bit, but more in the, you kind of talked about it with New Japan a little earlier in terms of like, can we get somewhere where we're going? And I kind of feel a little bit about that with Mercedes. And I think I doubly feel that because her and Tony have had comparably long reigns. I mean, she's had a much longer reign with the TBS title than Tony has with hers, but still it kind of feels like we've got both of the women's champs are these long reigning workhorses that have great matches and have the Challenger of the Month thing going. I mean, you can still look at it like any Mercedes match has an outside shot to be like surprise match of the night. Like, I don't think Riho is, I mean, she's been gone and back again and then gone again so many times that I'm not really confident about her ceiling as a performer right now compared to the current roster, which, as has been said, has upgraded itself in so many different ways. Yeah, I think you're right. And the difficult thing here is that it is a Challenger of the Month kind of thing, and there's not really any story that's going to come out of it, unless it's just she beats her up and then Alex Windsor makes the save and then it's back to Windsor.
I'm not even pushing back on what you guys are saying, because most of my absolute favorite matches have what you guys are describing present, where there is a believability in either direction, or you are not just experiencing it purely for the match on the match's stakes. There are instances where styles make fights for me, and this one does get categorized under that for me. Although I do take what you're saying seriously, Brian, that people from her era in AEW maybe aren't up to par, and we've had some evidence of that. So I take that seriously too. But when I think of these two stylistically, I think of like prolific, explosive selling. And when I think of them in combination, colliding and doing that for one another, I think that could be awesome to watch. While devoid of stakes, and again, Mike said it nicely there. It was like, well, even if they did the upset, it would suck. Like who even if you like Rio, you're like, oh well, yeah, that's who should dethrone Mercedes. Like no one thinks that should even happen. So it has to be purely on match basis. But this one does clear that bar for me. I think that when they collide, it will be obvious that they are both stylistically compatible. And the way that I think this match will play out will be really, really fun and implosive more than explosive, as it'll be almost a competitive of them on defense. So I'm looking forward to it on those terms, but I take what you guys are saying seriously for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that's good too, because you were talking about the style, and Mercedes versus a Joshi has been a reliable combination for a long time now. And Riho's kind of actually even different from some of the other Joshis that Mercedes has fought. So from a stylistic perspective, like that could be fun. Well, sure, but I mean, she is smaller.
From, like Azumi and
Yeah. Remember the Hazuki match at like it was like Resurgence or one
That
of the
was
strong
so
ones?
sick.
That was
we watched on the
bonkers.
Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like I think they would have been better served by just like not booking Mercedes for a month and then just like even doing this later. You
Sure.
know, like it just kind of feels like, okay, here we go again, you know, and like kind of how they got from Windsor to Rio. Like, I think it's a whole thing. I feel like I'm shitting on Riho a lot here. It's not. I think she's a totally fine wrestler and the match will be good. I just think like it feels more to just get a Mercedes match on the card than to serve any actual purpose.
Printed in the papers, Mike Noble hates Riho.
Yeah.
The Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. We hurt people. Taking on the trio of Ricochet and GOA. I'm the wrong guy to talk to about this match. I'm pissed off at the Hurt Syndicate. I don't like them, and now they've turned them babyface, so that puts me in a weird position. And I like Ricochet now, so it's all confused for me. Let's go to you, Michael Noble. Hurt Syndicate, Ricochet, and GOA. Is this going to be good? Is this going to be bad? Should I be happy?
Damn, government name. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never call you Michael.
What could Mike mean?
Say his full name.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. That's if you're gonna come on my show, I'm gonna say your full name.
Yeah, man, I'm not excited for this match either. Honestly, like I think it's kind of like I've never been high on the Hurt Syndicate. I've expressed this in the Discord, which you can join at patreon.com/wrestlingbrain.
Nope.
Still got it. Still got my fastball.
No, you don't. It's
But-
patreon.com/J0SHC. You
Whatever.
Got it.
Whatever.
Way to go,
Trying
Mike.
my best. Trying my best. Where was I? Yeah, I've been not really kind of on board with them. Like they scream New York, all of them, in a way that when they came in, I was like, why are people excited about this? Like
Shelton C2 is really fun.
it was, and like I think Shelton has surpassed that expectation, but it's mostly Bobby Lashley. But all that said, and like I also think the way that they fumbled the MJF storyline really bugged me. I don't like getting invested in something just to have it completely taken away like that.
Totally agree.
And obviously the thing about them not dropping the tag titles sucked.
They weren't even there.
They ran away. That's how much they cared. Ricochet
They hurt people, all right. They hurt my damn opinion.
Yeah,
of
they
them.
hurt feelings. The emotional Hurt Syndicate. But with Ricochet, I think unanimously he's doing some great work. Gates of Agony, I like the opportunity that they're getting. I don't think they're actually good wrestlers. What's your favorite Gates of Agony match?
Well, it had very little opportunity. I never liked these
Yeah,
discussions.
yeah.
The one
People
I
love to
saw
frame you with
tonight.
the question that it's like, oh, your
But-
favorite. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
They had a pay-per-view.
but it's also like I think you can like they've been around long enough that they should have gotten TV time to establish at least a bit of a resume.
My favorite match of theirs was tonight, Tio Leone versus Bobby Lashley,
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly, and
and it was beast.
yeah, it was fine, but like
You didn't get up for the Samoan drop on the apron onto Bobby Lashley after hearing nothing but this guy won't even let somebody throw a lariat at him and he'll bum.
my favorite part of that match was I thought it was like a trios like interview segment for some reason. I guess I just missed the memo that it was advertised. So when Bishop Khan and Ricochet came out in the tracksuits and Toa Leona came out in like his wrestling gear, I was like, whoa, like what's going on here? And I was like, oh, it's a
Bad
match.
communication.
No, I don't know. Like I want them to be good. Like I want new tag teams to be established, right? And I'm ready to be proven wrong. I think they've put in the time and effort, and you know, like they were around with the fucking Mogul Embassy. You know, like they put in their
That is a long time.
hours, and I'm ready for. I think they're also gonna win.
You think the Hurt Syndicate are?
No,
Oh, you think the GOA are?
I think there's gonna be a bit of a schmoz.
They're gonna pin MVP.
Yeah, I think some kind of thing along those lines.
Pumped
Because like
out.
I don't think you get MVP involved if he's not taking a pinfall. Otherwise you're just making MVP look strong. You know, like but also it's Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is like fucking breaking case of glass immediate main eventer if you like really need him to. So like you're going to want to protect him. But if the Hurt Syndicate dirt sheets were to be believed, Gates of Agony were one of those teams that they were willing to put over. So I'm kind of like maybe that's swaying my opinion a little bit. Hurt Syndicate have to lose eventually.
Don't tell them that.
I
Brian,
won't.
what
They'll
about
beat
you?
me
Are
up.
you any more excited for this one than Mike and I? Is it on a match terms, how do you think this one's gonna go?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the match I'm probably least excited about on the card, but I will say that, you know, I wasn't excited for Shelton versus Ricochet as a singles match, but then the way Ricochet let Shelton kick his ass, that got me on board. And if they go that direct, like, and as we were just talking about, the Bobby Lashley match tonight was fun. So if they kind of go more of that direction and, you know, maybe they can get something out of this. I do think Ricochet and GOA win. I agree. I don't know what the ceiling is for GOA, but as a vehicle to get more Ricochet on my TV, and I can't believe I'm saying that, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I feel that, man. For me, I could use every AEW pay-per-view to be 30 minutes longer. Or sorry, 30 minutes shorter. Please don't put the paper. I said
Insane take. Insane
yeah.
take.
I can use everyone to be 30 minutes shorter. And so when I'm looking at this card, this trios match could just really not be there. And
Yeah.
I think it would be addition by subtraction to the card. And it's hard that is my takeaway, but it is how I feel about it. But that said, not so about this next one. Maybe a bit of a best for last. We'll blow through the 0 hour after this, but I cannot believe how excited I am for FTR versus Cope and Christian to be in the building for that. I think is going to be really electric. This is my other match of the night. I was joking about Eddie Kingston's entrance. I think this and Darby and Mox are going to be contending for match of the night. I think that the build has been largely good, and I really think that FTR are going to go out there and try to have a signature CNC match. Brian, where does this sort of rank for you on anticipation, and do you think it can deliver as, you know, alongside the AEW great matches on pay-per-view?
Yeah, so I don't think it'll maybe reach the heights of an AEW great match, but I don't think it'll be for lack of trying. And I think that this, in a lot of ways, that when I was thinking about it, I did kind of realize that to me, this actually is a very AEW match, even if it does seem like it's WWE nostalgia, because for all their love of nostalgia, WWE was so fucking determined to never do an Edge and Christian reunion.
That's true.
For whatever reason, they just hated the idea of ever letting people cheer for this. So I think that in an AEW sense of, oh, hey, you know what people were kind of into that they never really got a chance to do is give these guys a proper cheer and a send-off. So I think the vibes in the arena are going to be immaculate. I think you'll have a great time. And FTR fucking love these two. Like we already know that. And so I think they're going to put all of their best efforts into making them look amazing. Christian is also great, and Edge will be there. So that's fine.
Ryan, you're going to be in the building again alongside me. Does that add to your anticipation for this match? Because I'm expecting a very hot crowd here. Like, is this up there for you?
Yeah, there is something really special in these two hometown kids in Toronto that are getting together, again, especially after like seemingly, Vince hated Edge and Christian and the idea of any potential reunion. It is going to be special. We say about Ed Choplin, and it's all true and very accurate, and he does suck, and he isn't funny, and he isn't very good, and he's too stupid, his emotions on his face, but just to have that little nostalgia run, it's going to be special, and it's kind of like concentrated into this FTR program. It's not going to you're not going to see CNC run roughshod over the territory. It's like there's a time and a place for everything, and this is it, and it'll be fun, and I don't think it's going to be too consuming going forward. So I'm stoked for it because we were there at Wrestle Dream when Choplin debuted, and it was fun as hell. Well, he also didn't talk or really do anything, so it was great.
Mike, in a vacuum, I mean, we had the Luchasaurus and Sabian match, but first real Christian Edge match in years. What does that mean to you? Is this like exciting on those terms?
I'm fucking pumped. Like, nostalgia glasses fully on. Edge and Christian are probably like a top 3 tag team of all time for me. Like, I loved them growing up. And I'm also, like, not as much of an Edge hater as most of the Discord is. I think, there's dozens of us. But it's like, I think his AEW run has, like, kind of surpassed expectations. And that's kind of, like, maybe a statement on where his expectations were coming in. But, like, he gets lost in the sauce, but, like, he hasn't had, like, truly stinker matches, in my opinion.
My issue with him is that his matches are medium, and that the longer you give him the mic, the less I like it.
Well, like, that's
and
like
he's gotten a lot of minutes on the mic.
Yeah,
a lot of it has sucked.
It's been fine though. Like,
I don't feel like it has. I feel like it's been outright bad.
Yeah, I think he's.
Hey, thank you, Puff.
Hey.
I was going to say that I think that the matches themselves would feel better if the build that Cope chose to make the matches about was better. Like, I feel like when he's talking on the mic, he picks really weird digressions and really weird insults, and it ends up giving all of his matches this kind of weird tone. And there was even a little bit of that tonight, but then like Christian quickly like swerved it back. So maybe that's just being a hater, but I guess Christian's the A side.
Much like Josh wanting every AEW pay-per-view to be 30 minutes shorter, I think every like Cope promo could be like 5 to 7 minutes shorter and still get the point across. I think like the first half of the promo tonight I thought was like totally fine. Like we came up together, I gave you my job, and then like blah 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 blah. Like that stuff's fine, and then he kind of trails off. That said, my nostalgia glasses are fully on when he is on screen. Like, I'm aware of his limitations. I'm aware he is just so cheesy. Yeah. But I do like watching him, and I do like, like when he came to AEW, it's like I do want to see what an Edge Will Ospreay match looks like, and like all that kind of stuff. And this reunion does a lot for me because like you knew it was coming, and FTR is going to make this like a classic, because I'm of the opinion that Edge can still go, Christian obviously still can, and FTR still can, and they're all really smart workers too, so they know how to like put this all together. And in a card that's going to be full of just like insane hardcore shit, they're going to probably try to stay away from that minus like one concerto, and I think they're going to craft something around all of that that's going to hit really hard. And honestly, I think it's going to deliver.
I love this. That's getting me even more pumped. And thank you for the heads up, Puff. Ryan, if you want to give that guy the boot, it'd be appreciated.
You got it.
And that gets us set up for All Out. I can't wait for the show this Saturday, man. This is going to be... I'm only more excited after doing the preview show with you three fine gentlemen. And, of course, everyone in chat. Very appreciated. We're going to get out of here very shortly, but I want to motor through a little bit of the 0 hour. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I was just say, yeah, hell yeah. Like, legitimately no other statement.
The Ops, Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Workhorsemen. I'm so excited to have the Workhorsemen back in the house. This do much for you, Brian?
I didn't know this was happening, but sure. That actually sounds like a good time.
They announced it right before we went on stream, and I was sitting here scrolling through my phone, and I thought one of the Workhorsemen was EC3 in the promo shot. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
AEW in the mud again. It's
Anthony
over.
Henry. Yeah, control your narrative.
Beyond that, Daniel Garcia and Katsuyori Shibata in a trilogy match. I can only think of one of their matches. I can't think of when the second one was. But
I think one of them was on like a collision.
Okay.
Their ROH match I remember being good though.
Yeah, that's the one
Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
On the ROH pay per
For the
view, and I
pure
really
title,
enjoyed it.
I believe. Maybe.
So look forward to that. And then teased on the show today, the 8-woman tornado tailgate brawl. Harley Cameron, Mirna Shirakawa, Queen Amanada, Willow Nightingale versus Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. Excited to get everybody on the card here, and I'm sure this will warm everybody up nicely. Any pairings we especially like in this one, Mike?
Well, other than the Sky Blue and Julia Hart promo from tonight, I don't know. Like, this is just like the women's division right now, right? Like,
Sure.
it's kind of just like look and see who's gonna face Tony / whoever wins, or face Mercedes, in my opinion. You know, and like looping back to the whole ethos of this conversation, it's like who's the next challenger of the month out of this crop?
That is a little bit how it feels, but
Yeah.
all the same, I think that's a
It'll
pretty
be great.
solid-
It
pretty
will
solid
be great.
0 hour.
It'll be a loaded 0 hour parking lot Toronto brawl. Call
I
it
can't
like
wait to see it.
the penalty box.
Brian, thank you for making your Wrestling Brain debut. I hope that you enjoyed this. What a rush being on the late night version of the preview show. We'll have to have you back, man. Plug away. Where can people find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a true thrill to join the Wrestling Brain panel and to be here with two hunks such as yourself and Ryan, a hunk producing. You can listen to my podcast /zine/ again, show that we have no growth plans for, Battle Royale with Cheese. We're on Instagram, which is where we do most of our posting when we post, but we're just a podcast. We're available whatever you get your podcasts. So check that out. And if you like Vancouver food, I think it's the show for you.
Hell yeah.
In short, what's something? If people ask me this all the time. Somebody's visiting Vancouver. What's something they need to have?
That's a great question. I mean, I think you probably know that, like, I feel like there's been a couple times in the Discord when someone's like, oh, hey, I'll be in Vancouver for a little while. Where should I eat? And I feel like I get activated like a sleeper agent. I'm like, where are you staying? Where do you want to go? What do you like? I'm instantly there with the recommendations. I want to know what you're into. I love talking about that shit with people. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it cliche to say sushi, but not the places that you're thinking about? It's not
Not at
Miku
all.
or Minami. It's go to the local faves, go to Kishimoto, go to the places that are like around the bend that the locals love, that are where you can get sushi that's, I think, you know, almost as good as what you can get in Japan, but you're not going to pay financial district prices for it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's the only answer to some degree. So many of my friends that come and visit, they do want to go for sushi because even if it isn't way better than where they live, it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our access to fish just makes it, you know, a little bit more approachable. So huge. Battle Royal Cheese, check it out. Mike, what's going on in Hotel Mirrorland?
We're about to embark on a 33-date North American tour. I'm going to be very busy. It starts October 6th in Saskatoon. I was going to say, if anyone listening to this, message me, and I'll probably guest list you in any show, unless it's Vancouver, because Vancouver is going to be a hot button item. But if you're in Kingston or Nashville or Dallas or Boston, want to hang out with me and Craig, yeah, shoot me a message. All details, hotelmirrormusic.com, Hotel Mirror Music on Instagram, Bike Melon on Instagram. Just look at our poster, and I will be there.
And Ryan, let people know what you got going on, brother.
Hardest podcast, a podcast. Good episode about Bone Brokaw, Vicky Thump. I'd like to
I'm gonna
thank
listen to that on the plane tomorrow.
yeah, our podcast Gato, Mike Noble, does a really good job helping out. Although he hasn't gotten back to me about that female performer for Cold Night. But hey, we can talk about that.
Ryan messaged me being like, do you know any women? I was like, what's the context, man? I don't know.
Date any woman.
Yeah.
I need a woman. All right. And as for me, patreon.com/J0SHC for all bonus materials and to get into the Wrestling Brain Discord, the best place for rational, living, breathing community based around wrestling online. I stand by that. And of course, wrestlingbrain.net for any information about Wrestling Brain Toronto. The quote around this event is, "You can be there." And spoiler alert, the very first slide says, "You are here." So that could be you being there and going. As for that, thank you all for tuning in. If you're on the podcast feed, please like, favorite, follow on Apple, on Spotify, on Qbuzz, on Tidal. Are there other ones, Ryan? Are you aware of other streaming services?
Yeah, we're on Nugs. I'm just getting us on nugs.net.
Yeah.
There's no. That's just the site that you're watching behind your screen with your. Anyways.
Oh, wow. Okay. And with that, Mike takes an X-ray to get his mind out of the damn gutter, everybody. Like Hiroshi Tanahashi says, love and energy, everybody.
Love and energy.
Love and energy, guys.